A very good evening to you out there, viewers. My name is Aisha Gambari, welcoming you to another interesting package of the program, The Eagle, your window to the activities of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Co-presenting with me is Aisha Mohammed. Hello there.
Hi, Aisha. Hello, viewers. It's nice being with you on this week's edition of your exciting program, Eagle.
A forensic expert, Dr. Friday Wada, has said for any meaningful impact to be made in the war against economic crimes and corruption, anti-graft agencies like the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, must be funded through a first-line charge basis. Also today, a federal high court in Bauchi sentences one Ismaila Muhammad to 12 years imprisonment.
Also on our lineup today, Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Lamurde, says the agency has recovered 4.3 billion naira from suspects involved in the petroleum subsidy scam. And on the special focus segment, the Eagle team interviewed Professor Ibrahim Gambari, Nigeria's former permanent representative to the United Nations. Please stay tuned. The program continues after this timeout.
Cheers! Cheers! What is it?
Please, keep to yourself. Chief Urabo, I got a telephone call.
Anytime I close my eyes,
yes,
I see dead people chasing me in my sleep.
My Jova Magadam.
Chief, is it possible for someone to become restless just because of his past deeds?
Nevertheless, unless you kill somebody dead, then the spirit will be haunted you.
Hey!
Was you all contractors?
I embezzled all the money for the roads that are now death traps, killing people every day. I approved the supplies of fake drugs on pipe and water. I embezzled the money at the fear, Chief.
You are supposed to fly especially now that the people of EFCC are chasing people who are doing to submit other people's money. EFCC, as soon as they capture them, straight to prison.
Chief,
Jail. Are you? Life are not just about acquire wealth, making money. When other people they didn't die of hunger and neglect. Be careful. EFCC, I watch.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
Ismaila Muhammad, a currency counterfeiter, has been sentenced to 12 years imprisonment by a federal high court sitting in Bauchi and presided over by Justice Muhammad Garba Umar. Ismaila had on March 6, 2014, pleaded guilty to a 4-count charge bordering on conspiracy, fraud, and currency counterfeiting preferred against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. One of the charge alleged that the convict conspired with one Aminu Bauchi, now at large, to produce 59 pieces of counterfeit United States of American dollar bills in $100 denominations, and thereby committed an offense contrary to and punishable under Section 6, subsection 2b, and 5, subsection 1 of the Counterfeit Currency Special Provisions Act Cap C-35, respectively. Based on the plea by the accused, the court convicted and sentenced him to 3 years imprisonment on each of the 4-count charge. The sentences are to run concurrently with effect from the date of the convict's arrest in January 2014. Also, a recharge card scammer, Ebiba Jack, has been sentenced to 35 years imprisonment without an option of fine. Justice R.M. Aikawa of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, on Wednesday, February 26, 2014, convicted and sentenced Ebiba after he was found guilty on all of the 5-count charge preferred against him by the EFCC. He was sentenced to 7 years imprisonment on each of the counts. The jail term is, however, to run concurrently. Justice Aikawa also ordered that the convict should return the sum of 14,795,000 naira in restitution to the victim. Jack was arrested and arraigned in 2008 by the EFCC following a petition by a company, Multitech Data System Limited, a distributor of telecommunication recharge cards and accessories. In another development, a forensic accountant and director, Nigerian College of Accountancy, Jos Plateau State, Dr. Friday Wada, has stated that for any meaningful impact to be made in the war against economic crimes and corruption, anti-graft agencies like the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, must be funded through a first-line charge basis. Wada said this while delivering a paper titled Integration of Forensic Accounting for Economic and Financial Crimes Prosecution at the monthly Commandant Lecture Series of the EFCC Academy, Karu, Abuja. He said direct funding of EFCC from the Federation account was necessary to guarantee effectiveness and independence of the agency.
If the anti-graft agency can be put on the first-line charge to the Federation account, such that their independence is very fundamental to the fight against corruption. But as long as they depend on the executive for their funding, I think it shows how unserious we are as a nation in fighting corruption. Because the tool to fight corruption in the first place is not there. And until you make these people financially independent to do their work, then I don't think much will be seen to be done.
He said forensic accounting is a specialized area of accounting which, though derives its framework from accountancy, involves legal, management, auditing and criminology skills. A forensic accountant, he added, should look beyond the numbers to see activities behind the numbers, the motives and relationships involved in the criminal activity, with a view to building evidence that is credible before a court.
An accountant plays around with numbers, but a forensic accountant looks beyond the numbers. The numbers convey an information, but the activities before the numbers arise, who are behind this? What is the motive? So the job of a forensic accountant goes beyond that. He wants to know what is the source of this. Who are related to this? And where is the end point? He will start tracing from the origin to the end point.
He said for economic and financial crimes to be properly investigated, the motives of the perpetrators have to be detected.
It's a clue. It's one of the things that will lead you to another direction in your investigation. Motive anywhere is very important. And motive, you may not know what has happened. But once you are able to establish motive, it will lead you to the next level of your investigation.
The lecture is part of the series designed to encourage scholarship and improve the capacity of staff for effective and efficient service delivery. It was attended by staff from different departments of the Commission.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
Welcome back. Executive Chairman of the EFCC, Ibrahim Lamurde, has disclosed that the Commission has received 4.3 billion naira from suspects involved in the petroleum subsidy scam. Zainab Sani Ahmed has the rest of the story.
Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Lamurde, disclosed that the Commission has recovered 4.3 billion naira from suspects involved in the petroleum subsidy scam. He made the disclosure on April 15, 2014, when the management of the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency, PPPRA, led by its Executive Secretary, Mr. Farouk Ahmed, paid a courtesy visit to his office in Abuja. The EFCC boss said the collaboration between the two agencies was pivotal to the Commission's institution of court cases against 13 oil marketers indicted in the investigations in the subsidy regime. He called for a sustained partnership between the two agencies in order to sanitize the petroleum industry, adding that such collaboration was imperative as the Commission will regularly seek for information and documents from the PPPRA. According to him, pressure may also come from the EFCC on staff of PPPRA as they will be required to testify in court or provide evidence for the prosecution of those involved in subsidy scam. The PPPRA Chief Executive Farouk Ahmed thanked the EFCC chairman for receiving his team. He said the visit was to further consolidate the relationship between the EFCC and PPPRA. Ahmed, who commended the EFCC for its effort to rid the country of economic and financial crimes, said he was looking forward to a more effective collaboration between the two agencies. He requested the Commission to detail a staff to the organization to ensure seamless collaboration. I am Zainab Sani Ahmed reporting for the Eagle.
Next is the special focus segment with Kamil Gebi. On today's edition, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, one-time Minister of External Affairs, says for corruption to be completely eradicated from our society, punishment for corrupt persons has to be stringent. The report.
Professor Ibrahim Gambari is a well-known figure in the world of diplomacy and international relations. He was Minister for External Affairs between 1984 and 1985. For many years, he taught political science at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. The distinguished scholar and diplomat, in an interview with the Eagle crew, observed that Nigeria is not the only country in the world with a perception problem.
Every country has a perception issue because many times what is said about the country may or may not be the reality. For example, the United States of America, at the period they used to call them the ugly Americans. That is, when they are abroad, that they are loud, they are busybody, not too much culture. Nobody is saying that much about America anymore. Similarly, in Nigeria, it depends on the time.
Was the creation of anti-graft agencies like the EFCC influenced by this perception challenge?
It is clear that for the most part, in the early period, the international community applauded Nigeria. In fact, they were very supportive and they contributed to the European Union. There is a United Nations Office of Drugs and Crimes have been very, very supportive of the activities of EFCC. I don't know whether the perception now is as strong as it was at the beginning, but I think we have the instruments to check corruption, but the challenge is we have to use it, and we have to use it without discrimination against those who are in terms of people who are being charged, by the EFCC.
Have you personally experienced corruption?
My personal experience, I don't know how general it is, but I've never paid a bribe, and I think people also have been long in public life for people to also know the kind of regime that I was part of, particularly at the highest level of responsibility in this country, which was Minister of Foreign Affairs, was during the period of Buhari Diagba. And that was a period, of course, whatever criticism people may have is regarded as one of the toughest. So you don't approach a minister of a regime like that for any wrongdoing.
Gambari said there is no country in the world where you don't find corruption. But countries where you have the least incidences of corruption are countries where punishment for those found wanting is stringent and enforced.
Where you have the least corruption are where three things are. First, the culture, of accountability as over the years have developed. That's one. So that it is not done, or at least official corruption, it is not done. The second is where there's reward and punishment, In other words, reward for good conduct and punishment for very bad conduct. And I would say that the third dimension is where the people demand accountability, where they have strong civil society who are the watchdogs, not just the official watchdogs like in Parliament, on the Senate, House of Representatives, National Assembly, or in the case of the United States, the U.S. Congress, but where these NGOs, civil society groups, that they go after those officers who are believed to be corrupt and they demand that something be done. problem is that if you look at the record of punishment, for example, of corrupt officials in this country, it's very spotty. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know of any big person who has been put in jail in Nigeria as a result of proven accusation about corruption. So the perception then is that corruption is punished only when the little people are involved. But when it involves billions of dollars or naira, then you don't see punishment commensurate with the crime. But those three things I mentioned: the culture of accountability, where they won't even dream of pursuing official corruption. Then secondly, reward and punishment. Those who are doing well, to honor them, to give them awards. But when you have a situation whereby corrupt officials, they amass wealth, and then they go to their communities and they give it chieftaincy titles, I mean, that does not encourage a culture of accountability or honesty. And thirdly, where the people themselves don't demand of their leaders. Every country in the world, is capable of corruption. But why some don't do it or do it less is because they know that their people will not tolerate it, and that there's a very efficient, effective, predictable punishment for those who are engaged in official corruption.
There are campaigns from some quarters that capital punishment should be enforced against those found to be corrupt. What is your take on that?
Except in terms of a gregarious crime, because people don't create life, and it's very difficult. Even the states should not be taking life that they cannot create now. But I definitely am for severe punishment against those who are found guilty of official corruption. But because it's not just about, if you look at corruption, it's not just about the individual, it's about the signal you send that it's all right for corruption if they get no punishment or very light punishment. It's about socializing the people about what is right and what is wrong. And so if there's no punishment or very lenient punishment for those who are convicted of official corruption, then it sends the wrong signals.
Just like the punishment, the professor of political science said a reward system should also be instituted for those who do the right thing.
This penalty is about punishment, but how about rewarding and recognizing those who do the right thing? People who leave office, clean. People can see there's life after public office. They don't have to steal. There's a gentleman called Mo Ibrahim. He, I think, was British of Sudanese origin. I set up the Mo Ibrahim Prize to say, if you are a president and you leave office well, and you leave office, you hand over properly, you leave the country better, then he's going to give money, millions of dollars to you to establish your own favorite project, and for you to keep for, I think, about 5 or 10 years. 10 years. To me, that's the kind of reward that I would be in favor of. Sadly, I don't think he's been able to award any prize in Africa for the last 3 years.
Apart from the reward system, he is of the view that strong laws should be enacted that will ensure that stolen funds stashed abroad are easily repatriated back to the country.
To make sure that wherever you take that money, it can be repatriated. And we've seen it. Even the United Nations is now working on a convention for the repatriation of illegally acquired funds. So if you know in advance that there's nowhere to hide, that your money is not safe, that it can be repatriated, then I believe that will also discourage.
The former envoy said the fight against corruption should not be left on the shoulders of government and the anti-graft agencies alone, but that all hands must be on deck if the war is to be won.
The people themselves, all of us, must be committed to this fight. It cannot be, let EFCC do it, let the courts do it, let the ICPC do it. It will not work. What is EFCC? What is ICPC? It is us. If we say we as a people will not tolerate corruption, it will not be. But if we leave it, sometimes we Nigerians were very good at transferring responsibility. If in the past, if the politicians are not behaving, we don't say, let's organize for free and fair election. Let the military throw them out. Okay, there's corruption. Let EFCC do it. it cannot work. You will be curing the symptoms, not the disease. Not tackling disease, which is that we tolerate a lot of wrongdoing in our society. We even honor those who have done wrong, but if they have enough money, they can buy chieftaincy title. Some people send a lot of people to Hajj to go and pray for them after they have stolen public funds. All of these things, if a people say, no, enough is enough, enough is enough, then we will be the one to empower, the instruments of the state, like the EFCC and the ICPC.
He urged Nigerians to cultivate the habit of asking questions when they observe that certain individuals within the society are living above their means.
We have to examine our own consciences. Where has this man who is helping me or trying to, where has he got his money? This man who wants a chieftaincy title, where has he got his money? The people we give national honors to, where have they got it? Have they paid their taxes to the state? So when we begin to ask questions as a community, which requires a lot of education, that is where we are going to get a result that will endure.
Cheers! What is it?
Please, keep to yourself.
Chief Urabo, I got a telephone call.
Anytime I close my eyes,
yes,
I see dead people chasing me in my sleep.
My Jehovah Magadam.
Is it possible for someone to become restless just because of his past?
Nevertheless, unless you kill somebody dead, then the spirit will be haunted you. Was you all contractors?
I embezzled all the money for the roads that are now death traps, killing people every day. I approved the supplies of fake drugs on pipe and water. I embezzled the money. I dey fear, Chief.
You are supposed to fly a special man that the people of EFCC and chase people who are doing to support other people money. EFCC, as soon as they capture them, straight to prison.
Chief,
jail. Are you? Life are not just about acquire wealth, making money. When other people they didn't die of hunger and neglect. Be careful. EFCC I watch.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
Thanks for staying tuned. Next is our feedback segment. On the segments are questions, inquiries and complaints that the Commission receives through its social media platforms such as the Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Audioboo and Google+.
Nwambweze Ise wrote via our Facebook account. He says, EFCC should keep it up. Thanks, Nwambweze, for the commendation. We hope you are part of the anti-corruption crusade by being an upright citizen. You can also join in the fight against corruption so Nigeria will be a better place for us all. We also received a text message on our hotline 08178167599 from Anigbogu Simon. He wrote, and I quote, "Please, EFCC, help me and many other Nigerians like me. There is a group in Abuja and some other states of the Federation called Covenant Fadama. They defrauded me of the sum of 2 million naira 3 years ago. Many other citizens are also victims of this fraud." Thank you for your message, Mr. Anigbogu. Please write a petition stating your encounter with the group to the EFCC chairman, number 5 Formella Street off Adetokunbo Ademola Crescent, Wuse 2, Abuja. You can also be part of this program by visiting us on www.facebook.com/official EFCC or follow us on Twitter @official EFCC. You can also watch our programs on www.youtube.com/official EFCC or send a text to the following numbers 081-781-67599 and 070-2505-8809.
Nigeria is the 6th largest producer of oil in the world. In over 50 years of oil exploration, the country has earned well over $600 billion as oil revenue. If properly managed, it should provide us with a health system that will save lives and not a decaying health system. A society where energy goes round for meaningful development and not an epileptic power supply system. a productive educational system and not a decaying educational system. A society where jobs are created for self-sustainability and not a society where our youth roam the streets unemployed. A highway of safety and security and not roads that lead us to early graves. We should have credible leaders who deliver dividends of democracy to the people and not corrupt leaders who divert our collective revenue for private use. Say no to corrupt leaders. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
It's nice having you back. Keep sending your complaints and suggestions. And on that note, we wrap it up on today's edition of the program. My name is Aisha Gambari. God bless Nigeria. From Aisha.
Yes, Aisha. The Public Interface Unit of the Public Affairs Department of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is driving a national discourse online every week. We are focusing on issues of good governance as it affects the anti-corruption crusade in Nigeria. Please join us on Google Plus by searching for Official EFCC or Official EFCCNG@gmail.com. When signed in your Google Plus account, like us or follow us. You can also join us on www.facebook.com/Official EFCC or follow us on Twitter @Official EFCC. You can also watch our programs on www.youtube.com/Official EFCC or send a text to the following numbers: 081-781-67599 and 070-250-58809. We thank you for watching and goodbye.